There was once a boy named Ethan who lived in a peaceful village surrounded by green fields and quiet rivers. Ethan was kind, friendly, and full of potential. But he had one big problem: he was extremely lazy. He avoided work, delayed everything, and spent most of his time sleeping or wandering around without purpose. Every morning, his mother would call him, "Ethan, wake up. The sun has already risen." But Ethan would groan and pull his blanket over his head. "Just 5 more minutes," he would say. Those 5 minutes always turned into hours. His father worked hard in the fields, and his mother managed the house and the small vegetable garden. But Ethan felt no urgency. He believed time was endless. He thought he could always do things later tomorrow, next week, next month. Because of his laziness, Ethan fell behind in school. He forgot assignments, he didn't study, and he kept telling himself, "I will start tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. One day, his teacher, Mr. Lewis, called him after class. "Ethan," he said kindly, "you are a smart boy. You can do great things. But if you keep wasting your time, you will lose more than grades. You will lose opportunities." Ethan nodded, but deep inside, he didn't take it seriously. Days passed. Weeks passed. Nothing changed. One afternoon, Ethan was sitting under a tree near the river, half asleep, enjoying the soft wind. While he sat there, he noticed an old man walking slowly along the riverbank. The old man carried a long stick and a small bag. He looked calm, peaceful, and full of wisdom. The old man stopped near Ethan and smiled gently. "You seem relaxed, young man," he said. Ethan stretched lazily and replied, "Yes, it's too hot to work. I will do everything later." The old man sat down beside him. "Later," he repeated softly. Such a simple word, yet it destroys so many dreams. Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man looked at the flowing river. "Let me tell you a story." Ethan sat up a little, curious. Many years ago, the old man began, a wise king called 3 young men to his palace. He gave each of them a glass jar filled with tiny seeds. The king said, "You have 1 month to use these seeds wisely. At the end of the month, come back and show me what you did." Ethan listened silently, watching the old man's gentle movements. The first young man planted the seeds the same day. He watered them every morning. He cared for them patiently. At the end of the month, he had a jar full of small, healthy plants. The second young man delayed for a week. Then he started planting. He rushed the work and forgot to water the seeds several days. At the end of the month, only a few weak sprouts grew. The third young man said, "I will start tomorrow," but he never did. At the end of the month, he walked to the palace with the same jar still full of dry seeds. The old man paused and looked at Ethan. The king rewarded the first young man, encouraged the second, and gently told the third, "Wasted time cannot grow anything. Not seeds, not skills, not your life." Ethan felt something heavy inside his chest. The story felt like it was written for him. The old man leaned closer and said softly, "Ethan, every day gives you 24 hours. If you waste them, they never return. Time is the only treasure you can't buy again." Ethan swallowed. "But sometimes I don't feel like doing anything." "That's normal," the old man said with a kind smile. "But do not let laziness steal your future. A little effort every day becomes a great change over time." He picked up a small stone from the ground. "This stone is tiny," he said, But if you throw one stone in the river every day, one day you will build a bridge. Ethan looked at the river and imagined it. A tiny action, repeated daily, could create something big. The old man stood up slowly. You are young. You have energy. You have potential. But none of it matters if you don't use your time wisely. Before leaving, he said one last sentence that stayed with Ethan forever. If you don't use your time, someone else will use it, for you, and you will be left with nothing. And then he walked away. That night Ethan couldn't sleep. The story of the jars and the wise king played again and again in his mind. He remembered his teacher's words. He thought about his future. He looked at his messy room, his unfinished homework, and his tired parents. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt ashamed, not because someone scolded him, but because he realized how much he had wasted. The next morning, something surprising happened. Ethan woke up early. His mother walked into his room, shocked. Ethan, you're awake. He smiled. Yes, Mum. I think I've slept enough for a lifetime. His father stared at him with wide eyes. Are you sure you're feeling okay? Ethan laughed. I'm fine. I just want to start doing things better. And he did. Ethan didn't try to change everything in one day. He remembered the old man's lesson, small actions done every day. So he started with simple steps. He cleaned his room. He helped his parents in the morning. He made a list of tasks for the day. He studied for 30 minutes. He stopped saying later. At first, it was difficult. Laziness called him back many times. But every time he felt like giving up, he remembered the old man's gentle voice. Every day is a jar. Fill it with something useful. Little by little, Ethan became more active, more responsible, and more focused. Within a few weeks, Ethan's school performance improved. His teacher noticed his effort and praised him. For the first time, Ethan felt proud of himself, not because he was perfect, but because he was trying at home. His parents were happier. They felt lighter, supported, and loved. And Ethan felt something he had never felt before. The joy of being useful. He also found time to learn things he enjoyed: drawing, planting seeds, reading new books. Thinking about his future, each day felt meaningful. Months passed by. The end of the school year. Ethan wasn't just doing well, he was one of the top students. His teachers admired his transformation. His classmates asked him how he changed. Ethan simply smiled and said, I started valuing my time. One bright afternoon, while walking home, Ethan saw the old man again sitting by the river. The same peaceful smile on his face. Ethan ran to him. Sir, I've been looking for you. You changed my life. The old man chuckled softly. I didn't change your life, Ethan. You did. I only gave you a mirror. You chose to see your true self. Ethan sat beside him and told him everything, the small steps, the improvements, the joy he found in working hard. The old man nodded with pride. That is the power of time. When you use it wisely, life changes gently, beautifully, and surely. Ethan gazed at the river. Thank you. I will never waste time again. The old man tapped his shoulder. Remember, laziness is not your enemy. It is simply a habit. And habits can be changed with patience. They sat quietly for a while, watching the river moving forward, never stopping, never slowing, always flowing with purpose. From that day onward, Ethan lived differently. He woke up early. He planned his day. He worked before he rested. He helped others. He learned new skills. He stayed focused, and whenever he felt lazy, he remembered the 3 jars, one full of plants, one with weak sprouts, and one still full of dry seeds. He always wanted his jar to be full of life. Years later, Ethan became a successful young man, respected, confident, and wise. People trusted him because he knew how to value time, and whenever someone complained about laziness or lack of motivation, Ethan simply said, "Your life is built by how you use every hour. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start with one small step today." Ethan learned the greatest truth. Time is life. If you waste time, you waste life. If you use time wisely, you build a future you can be proud of. Every morning brings a new chance. Every day is a new jar. Fill it with something meaningful. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start.